friends, now we were talking about the data. We were talking about the source of the data. We mentioned that the data can become in the form of primary data, or they can become in the form of secondary data as well. Right? Good. Right. Now, friends, secondly, we are going to discuss about the data, but again, based upon the nature of the data, we can divide the data again into specific categories, right? So we can write here, my friend, right? Now, earlier it was source of the data. We can say nature of data, right? So we can write here. So we're going to see how we can divide the data based upon the nature of the data. So we can write here, my friend, right? Nature of data. Nature of data. Right. Right. We can write here, my friends, the data can be generally divided into two categories based on their nature, based on its nature. Right. Based on its nature, right? So basically, my friends, we can divide this into, I'm sorry, what is this? Can be divided into two categories based on its nature, their nature, whatever, right? Good. Right. So friends, basically, this data that we are referring to, right, can be divided into two categories. We call them quantitative data versus the qualitative data. Quantitative versus the qualitative data, right? Quantitative versus the qualitative data. Right, good. Right? So friends, we can say again here, we can write again here, right? So we can put this into the middle, right? And we can write here data. Right? We will divide this into two categories called the quantitative data and the qualitative data. Quantitative data and the qualitative data, right? Quantitative data and the qualitative data. We can say quantitative, QUANTITA, quantitative data. Other one is a qualitative data. Other one is a qualitative data. Qualitative. So we can divide this into quantitative versus the qualitative as well. Right, good. Right, so let's put a small arrow here. Sorry. Quantitative data versus the qualitative data. Right, so you can have a brief division of this data again based upon the nature of the data as of this qualitative versus quantitative. Let us discuss this in detail further, right? Very good. Right. Right. Now, friends, take this down, to illustrate this qualitative versus quantitative data division based upon the nature. Let us refer to some of the examples, but before I refer to the example, I'm still waiting till you take this down, right? Let me wait for a couple of seconds. Okay, good. Okay, right. So hopefully I've taken this down, right? Now, friends, let me open a data file right now, right? This data file that I'm going to open right now is primarily refers to a particular, the real estate related data, right? So give me 1 second. Right, okay. Okay. Right. So okay, so we have quite a few data points here, right? So if I'm to come down here, there's not much. Okay, there's again around 105 data points here, right? So this particular information is about a particular, the real estates, right? That is available on a particular, let's say, uh, region, a particular, let's say, district in Sri Lanka, right? Let's say that we have some information given about this particular real estates, right? A particular company, a real estate company is trying to really maintain data regarding a particular houses that are to be sell on a particular region in the country, and they have maintained some of the information, they have recorded some of the information regarding this, right? So you can see the first column that is representing here is basically the price of the house, right? 26.31 million, 18.24 million, 24.21 million, etc., in rupees. You can see the prices are given in the particular data in here, right? Good. And then the second column that you see is the number of bedrooms. How many bedrooms this particular house have? You can see the first one says 4, 4, 3, 2, 2, 2, 6. Likewise, number of bedrooms in a particular house, right? At the same time, the next column number C that you see here, represents the size of the home in square feet. In terms of square feet, what is the space utilization of the particular house? 2,300 square feet, 2,100 square feet, 2,300, likewise, right? Next one is, now actually this data was taken primarily from some Australian data set, but I convert that to Sri Lankan rupees later on, right? So you can see the column D, as you can see here, whether the particular house have a particular pool, swimming pool. We are referring to swimming pool, right? Whether there's a swimming pool or not. You can see it's going to be either 1 or 0, right? And then you can see the next one is the distance from the center of the city, right? Okay, basic. Yeah, this information gives the distance from the city, right? Uh, there's another one called the township. I can't remember as to what that it is. Let me check. All right. Okay. Can't remember exactly what this township means, right? Okay, you can just consider later on, right? Garage is attached or not. There's a garage for the particular house or not. 1 0 means there's a garage. 0 means 1 means there's a garage. 0 means there's no garage, right? Same with the pool as well. 1 means there's a pool. 0 means there's no pool, right? And finally, we have the bathrooms. You can see 2.5 means, my friend, right? Again, like in Australian context, like sometimes they have the 2 bathrooms and a 1 toilet, right? 2 separate bathrooms with the full bathroom with the shower and the toilet itself, but another separate toilet. That's called 2.5, right? Again, 1.5 means full bathroom and a separate toilet, right? These are 2 separate bathrooms. You can see 2. Again, 2.5 means 2 separate bathrooms and a separate toilet, right? So likewise, that you can see the numbers here, right? Great. Now, when you refer to this particular piece of information that you see here, right? This information that you see here comprises both the quantitative data and the qualitative data, right? So basically, my friends, the quantitative aspect of the data illustrate numerical or quantifiable aspects of a particular entity or particular person or particular house or whatever, right? Whereas qualitative, the data primarily refers to qualitative characteristics, right? Either particular, either particular, let's say, thing is there or not, right? Particular facilities there or not. Let's say particular facilities there or not, right? These are qualitative data. Right? So as an example, like, when you collect the data, we'll talk about the qualitative data in detail, right? So now, quantitative data, right? Things like, maybe I'll just say general information, general examples on that matter, right? Like, the quantitative data could be like, the uh, how many minutes are remaining to finish this class today. That's a quantitative, quantifiable, right? And maybe number of children in a family. How many kids are in a family? Quantifiable, right? And maybe the balance available in your account right now, quantifiable, right? Those are quantitative data, my friend, right? Whereas, give me 1 second. Whereas qualitative data is, as I mentioned, are some more specific information, things like, the particular individual's religion, qualitative information, right? You can't number them. You can rather say either you are Buddhist or Hinduism or the Muslims or the Islam, Islam follower, or maybe the Christian or whatever, right? Or maybe kind of the person's eye color, black, green, blue, right? At the same time, gender, male or female, right? You can't quantify them, that, but this gives some characteristics of the particular person or the entity, right? Similarly, my friends, when you look into this data set that you see here, you can also figure out some of the information that you see here are quantitative. You can measure them. There's a number attached to that, right? Whereas some of these data actually represent particular characteristics of the particular, let's say in here, house, right? So we will come to that particular demarcation between the qualitative versus quantitative, shortly with refer to this particular example, right? And then we can also discuss about some of the other examples as well, right? Good. So we can take this down. So we can write here, my friend, right? We can write here. We can write here, right? Okay. Let's go to a new page. Go to the new page directly. Keep it here. Right. This have a small vision here, right? Good. All right. Okay, we can write here, right? We can write here quantitative, right? We can write here, right? Quantitative data, quantitative data, right? Illustrates, right? Numerical or quantifiable. Numerical, NUMERICAL, or quantifiable aspects of an entity or a person. Whereas, my friends, qualitative data primarily represents, we can say, right? Oh, sorry. We can write here, right? Qualitative data, you can say, right? Qualitative data explain characteristics, explains characteristics of an entity or a person. Or a person, right? So you can see qualitative versus quantitative character, the data here, right? Qualitative data represents the characteristics of a particular, the entity or person, whereas quantitative data represents, right, numerical or quantifiable aspects of a entity or person, right? Good, great. Take this down, very good. Fantastic. You have taken this down, right? Brilliant. Thank you so much. Fantastic. Very good, right? Great. So, friends, take this down. Thank you so much, my friends. Very good. Thank you for the thumbs up, right? Appreciate that a lot, right? Brilliant. Take this down, my friends. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Great, good. Right, take your time, take this down. We can further discuss this in detail, right? Good. Right. Thanks again for the thumbs up, my friends. Very good, brilliant, right? Very good. Right. Now, friends, you have taken this down, right? Brilliant. Now, friends, like, let's see about this, right? Let's discuss this further, right? Good. Now, friends, right? Okay. Um, I want you to help me out here, right? Now let's go back to our data set. This is our data set, right? Now this friends, now this township primary refers to, I just had a quick look into the description of the data. Township primary refers to the particular, the region that the particular house is located at, right? As an example, like, let's say that if you are in, let's say, the Kottava, let's say the Maharagama Kottava area, right? So then the Maharagama Kottava Parnipiti, right? So these are specific towns. You can assign a particular, let's say Maharagama is number 1, Kottava is number 2, Parnipiti is number 3, right? Likewise, you can just assign a number. So this township means the particular town that is primarily, placed upon, right? Good. So we have some information here, right? Now, from this piece of information, can you guess what could be the quantitative data available about these real estates that you see here, right? So there's, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 columns here, right? Price, number of bedrooms, size of the home in square feet, pool, yes or no, distance from the center of the city, township, garage attached, yes or no, number of bathrooms, right? Can you tell me from this piece of data that is available, which particular data is actually quantitative data? Quantitative data. Thank you, my friend 033, right? So my friend 033 says price is a quantitative data, right? Are you guys agree with my friend? Do you guys agree with my friend, right? My friend says price of the house is a quantitative data, right? So let's go back to our definition. So we had the first column, right? First column. So we'll go by column, right? We'll start with the first one. Price of the house. Price of the house, right? So if you go here, my friend, price of the house. Now, based upon this quantitative versus qualitative, the price of the house is something numerical or quantifiable matter, or does it explain some characteristics of the house? What do you guys think? Is it something measurable? Price of the house, is it something measurable? Thank you so much. Very good, right? Yes, exactly, right? Good. So my friends, Malinda, and then at the same time 072, right? Shankaran, right? At the same time, yes, very good, right? So this is price of the house is actually, okay, right. Very good. Everyone says yes, right? Yes, something measurable, right? So that's going to be a quantifiable data, right? So my friend 016, Manya, and then my friend 055, right? And my friend Madhumal, right? And even my earlier friends, right? Shankaran, and then 072, and Marinda, and then 033, all agree on that, right? And they say yes, exactly, right? So what you mentioned is correct, my friend. So we can see this, the quantitative data that is available from the data set. If you refer to back to our data set again, right? The price of the house is going to be quantitative data. You can measure. There's a numeric figure, right? You can see 26.31 million, the first house. Second house, 18.24 million. There's a price attached to the particular house, right? So we can see that's going to be a quantitative data. We can say right here, my friend, right? We can write here price of the house, number 1. Price of the house. Right. Brilliant. Very good, right? So you are doing this very good, right? Very good. Fantastic. Great. Right. Good. Friends, let's go to the next column. Number of bedrooms. Number of bedrooms, right? Does this number of bedrooms illustrate something quantifiable? Or does it give a particular characteristics? Kind of, yes or no kind of a thing. or particular group it's falling into, or this is something numerical that you can measure. A particular house have 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms. You can see even 5 bedrooms, 6 bedrooms here, right? Is it quantifiable? Is it quantifiable? Yes, exactly, right. Thank you so much, my friends. Right, very good, right? So everyone is saying it's quantifiable, right? So what is that, my friend? Number of rooms again. What? The second column is again, right? So we looked into this one, right? First one is done. Second one, my friends, yes, as you very clearly mentioned, it's quantifiable, right? So what is that? That's again going to be a quantitative data, right? So we can write here number of bedrooms. Brilliant, very good. Ah, yes, bedrooms, right? Okay. B-E-D, bed, not bedrooms, bedrooms, right? Bedrooms, right? That's going to be again quantifiable. Exactly, right? Very good. Right. Are we all good? Are we all good? Great, fantastic, my friends. Very good, right? Brilliant. Thank you so much for the thumbs up, right? So this is again all good. We have done that. Let's go to the third one. Size of the house in terms of square feet. 2,300, 2,100, 2,200, right? 2000 again 100, 2,500, right? Etc. My friends. Can you measure that? Is it quantifiable? Is it numerical, my friends? Size of the house in square feet. Is it quantifiable? What do you guys think? Right? Yes. Number three. Yes, friends, exactly. Very good, right? So almost everyone is saying, right? Very good, brilliant, right? Fantastic, very good, right? So my friends are saying, yes, it is quantifiable, right? It's quantifiable, right? Brilliant. Thank you so much. Fantastic answers there, right? Exactly. So the size of the house in square feet, my friends, is going to be what? Quantitative data. Quantitative data, right? Quantitative. So we can write here, right? We can write here size of the house. Let's again, quantitative data, right? Very good. Brilliant, right? Fantastic, very good. Right. Size of the house, it's going to be quantitative. Size of the house is going to be quantitative. Fantastic, my friends. Very good. Right. Okay. Let's go to the next one, shall we? Right? Shall we? Let's go to the next one. So we have the price of the house, number of bedrooms, size of the house as quantitative data. Let's go to the next one. Having a pool or not? Is it something that is explained about certain characters of the particular house, or is it something measurable? Yes, what do you guys think? Yes, exactly, right. Very good, right? Okay, thank you, my friends, right? Very good. Okay, very good, right? So my friends, yep. So my friends, 086, 046, Sankaran, right? Malinda, right? And then Madhumal, at the same time, my friend 039, at the same time, Dilumi, right? 087, 016, 017, 072, Sankini, right? At the same time, 052, Gayatri, and then likewise 085, 057, 035, 097. Everyone saying that's going to be qualitative. That's explaining the characters of the particular house. Exactly. So we can write here, my friend, this is going to be qualitative, right? So we can write here this side. That will be number one, right? In the other side, my friend, right? So we can write here, that's going to be availability of the pool. Right. Brilliant. Very good. Right. Fantastic, my friends. Very good. Right. Great. Good. Right. We'll do the rest quickly, right? Next one. Distance from the center of the city. Is it something quantifiable? Maybe let's say they are given in terms of kilometers. 17, 19, 12, 16, 28, 12, etc. distance from the center to the center of the city, my friends, is it something quantifiable or is it something a particular characteristic that is trying to explain here? 055, thank you so much. And my friend 023, 039, 086, 057, 0 Hasita, right? Very good, right? Right. Madhumal, very good, right? Fantastic, very good, right? Great, good. Right. Sahan and 017, right? Very good. Hasita, all good, right? Yes, it's going to be quantifiable, my friend. So it will be again falling into what? It will be again in the quantitative section. Quantitative section, that's going to be again what did we mention? Size, the distance from the city. Distance from the city. Right. Distance from the city. Right. Brilliant. Very good. Great. Good. So let's go to the last, I think the 2, right? Good. Next one. Sorry, number 3, right? There's 3 actually. Township. What is the town the particular house is located at? We have different towns. We have numbered them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Likewise, right? Yeah, we have around 5 only here, right? So there's actually 5 towns on that area, right? So we have categorized them into based upon the town, right? Does it explain particular characteristics or is something quantifiable? Thank you, my friends. Exactly, right? So my friends are saying it's about the characteristics. So it's going to be qualitative. Qualitative. Township is going to be qualitative. Exactly, right? Very good. Right? So we can say town located. Township or the town located is going to be qualitative. Right. Fantastic. Very good. Right? Great. Last 2. Garage attached or not. Is it something that explain the characteristics of the particular house or is it something quantifiable? Just a garage attached to the house or not? Too easy, right? Too easy, I know, right? That's going to be, my friends. Yes, exactly, right? It's going to be very good, my friends. Fantastic answers. That's going to be qualitative. Qualitative. Garage attached or not, my friends. That's going to be qualitative. Qualitative. Let's say garage attached. Brilliant. Fantastic, right? Very good. Great. Okay, finally, my friends, we are left with only one. That's going to be number of bathrooms. Is it something quantifiable or is it something qualitative? Exactly, my friends. Very good, right? Fantastic. Very good. Very good, my friends. Very good answers there, right? Brilliant, brilliant answers there, right? Fantastic, my friends. Yes, everyone is saying it is something quantifiable. You can say, okay, 2 bathrooms. 2.5 means 2 bathrooms and 1 toilet. 1.5 means 1 bathroom and 1 toilet separately, right? Likewise, you can quantify, you can attach a number to that, right? Brilliant, very good, right? So we can write here, my friend, that's going to be again quantitative. It'll be quantitative, right? Number of bathrooms. Number of bathrooms. I know it's going to be a bit of 2 silly questions, but that's you got the idea, right? Number of bathrooms. Right. Great. Good. Right. So, friends, now we know that how we can decide upon the particular, the qualitative versus quantitative data, right? So, as you again mentioned, my friends, this qualitative and the quantitative data can go beyond the example that I've taken. It could also be applicable for any of the other, let's say the other, scenarios as well, right? As an example, the quantitative data, maybe the the number of children in the family, right? Again, the distance that you travel to go to work, right? And maybe your salary, right? That you're going to get, that you get at the end of the month, right? And the balance in your accounts, right? These are quantifiable, right? Whereas qualitative things like the gender, the religion, right? Maybe like your hair color, your eye color, right? Your those things are actually like qualitative, right? But on the other hand, like your weight and your age, these are quantitative. You can measure them, right? Okay. So you can see, like if you take a particular individual or particular entity, that entity can comprise both qualitative and the quantitative characteristic, qualitative and the quantitative data both, right? As an example, this particular household that the houses that we mentioned in our data set, right? We had both qualitative and the quantitative. Similarly, it's going to be the same for the other, many of the other entities or the persons as well. Entities or the persons as well, right? Brilliant. So this is a bit of an easy one, not difficult demarcation, but I'm sure that everyone got this very clearly. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer concerning this demarcation between the quantitative versus qualitative data division. Right. Okay. Good question. So my friend 039 is asking, can you please explain why does the township comes under the quantitative data? That's a brilliant question, right? Now, in our township, we are referring to, let me go back to that data set. So my friend's question is about this township, right? Let's say, let me take this and let me put this in a red color, right? So our information is about this township, right? So this township is actually basically referring to, right, which particular town it belongs to. As an example, we have given a particular, hypothetical, let's say a particular number attached to that. We can say, okay, when we get this information, we attach, let's say as an example, Maharagam is number 1, Kottav is number 2, Panipit is number 3, right? So likewise, we give a particular, let's say number for the particular town in the particular region, right? So now in here it says, like, number 5 means you are in that particular, the town on that particular region, right? Number 4 means you are in that particular region on that particular, that particular town in that particular region, right? So when you, read this township, is it something measurable? Is it something quantifiable, right? So as an example, the price of the house is quantifiable. There's a figure attached to that, right? But the township, number 1 representing maybe Maharagama, number 2 representing Kottava, number 3 representing Pandipitiya, right? Likewise, So likewise, that number, it's something not, I mean, if you read this, it's not something that quantifiable, right? Okay. My friend Malin is asking, can we rate the towns? Not necessarily. As an example, let's say the gender. Can you rate the gender? Male 1 and female 2. Always does a male come first and female come second? No, right? I mean, in here, these information gives some characteristic of the particular, the entity, right? They are not measuring something. They are not measuring something, but rather they are giving some characteristics, right? Now, which is the square feet of the house? That's a measurement, right? But which town it belongs to? That's in characteristics, right? So that's why we have taken the township as a qualitative data rather than quantitative data, right? Quantitative is something that you can measure, that you can assess, right? And like the as an example, you can as an example, you can it's the price of the house, the square feet, those things actually you can measure, right? But the township you are not measuring, but rather it's a character of the particular house, right? So basically, the township was fallen into a qualitative data because it's not a measurement. It's not a measurement, right? Now, these particular towns have a particular, the code attached to that as well, like, especially in Australia, I could remember that we had a particular, the suburbs number, right? When you post a letter, you have to put that particular suburb number as well, right? So likewise, but in here it doesn't actually measure anything. It's actually characteristic of the particular house location, right? So that's why we say this is something that falls into the qualitative data rather than quantitative data, right? Because you can't measure that, right? I don't know whether I answered your question, Marinda, and then my friend 039. Does it make sense? Right. Thank you so much. Brilliant. Very good. Marinda, are you all good? All good, right? Brilliant. Fantastic. Very good. Great. Good, right? Great. Good. Now, friends, we have done some preliminary understanding. We have done some preliminary, division of the data based upon the nature of the data, qualitative versus quantitative data, right? Qualitative versus quantitative data, right? Now, friends, this particular qualitative versus quantitative data, we can further divide them based upon the different characteristics filled with the particular data itself, right? So we will talk about how we can divide this data, this qualitative versus quantitative data, based upon some of the specific characteristics filled with that, right? Okay, good. Right. So friends, so what we're going to do, we are going to first divide this quantitative data based upon some specific characteristics of this particular data, right? Okay, so basically, my friends, this quantitative data, right? Quantitative data, we can generally divide this into what we call as discrete variables, right? Or the continuous variables. Quantitative data can be divided into discrete variables or data and the continuous variables or data, right? So what do you mean by these discrete variables, my friend, right? Discrete variables are the variables, right, that can have a certain value, right? As an example, like, maybe things like, the number 1, 2, 3, right? So these are actually now even like, they can have some specific values, right? Or even 1.5, 2.5, right? But there are some specific, they are not falling into a range. Whereas continuous variables, so the data are the data that can fall into a particular range. That's called the continuous variables, right? So we'll talk about that in detail with some further examples using this particular, the scenario that we've taken here, right? So we can write here, right? This quantitative data, we can divide this into quantitative data, my friend. We can divide this into two broad categories called right, discrete variables or data, or the other one is, my friends, as you mentioned, right? We can divide this into continuous variables of the data. Right, good. Discrete or the continuous, right? We'll see what they are. We'll see what they are. We had a bit of a discussion, but we'll see what they are, right? So the discrete variables, my friend, right? We can write here. Sorry. We can write here, my friend, right? So we can write here. Discrete variables, right, can only assume certain values and there are usually gaps between the values. On the other hand, my friends, like, right, can assume only certain values and there are usually gaps between them, right? On the other hand, my friends, if you refer to this continuous variables, right? Right? Here, right? It can assume any value within a specific range. Right. That's called the continuous variables of the data, right? Discrete variables and the continuous variables, right? So we can divide this quantitative data into either discrete variables or the continuous variables. Right, good. Take this down. Right, brilliant, right? So, friends, uh, if you have taken this down, let us try to understand by looking to this information that is given to us with this, the data file, and which we divide this data into quantitative versus qualitative, where the quantitative data was representing things like the price of the house, number of bedrooms, I'm sorry, size of the house, distance from the city, number of bathrooms, etc. Sorry, these 5 elements, right? These 5 data points, right? We say they actually quantitative, the data, right? Then let's try to decide whether it's going to be discrete or continuous variable, right? Uh, my friends, Marin's asking for continuous variables, do we need a range? So basically, Malinda, that's a good question, right? So what we try to say here is that, right? The particular continuous variable. I mean, unlike the discrete is like either 1, 2, 3, or maybe sometimes maybe 1.5, 2.5, some specific numbers we can attach to that, right? But for the continuous variables, it could be in between. I mean, generally, it could be in between certain range, right? As an example, if you look into, let's say, the blood pressure of a particular patient, right? Uh, Generally, there's a typical range, right? So that value, that blood pressure, like whichever the number that you're going to get, right? It's going to be, I mean, generally it's given as a range. Now, let's say the cholesterol, right? And now the sugar level, right? So those things, and maybe maybe even like their weight, right? Those things actually, I mean, generally there's a range. Generally there's a range, right? Oh, sometimes you can go beyond that range as well, but still it's going to be continuous. Then the range, then the particular range will further extend with that particular new findings, right? But however, it can fall between any particular 2 points that I'm trying to say, right? So that's why I say it's in between a range. That's why we say likewise, right? Good, right. So all good. Thank you so much. That's a good question, right? So friends, uh, now let's look into these figures or the particular variables that you have collected, where we label them as quantitative, right? Now, what I want you to know from you is then when we refer to these particular, the data points that you have considered, right? If you start with the price of the house as an example, we'll go one by one, right? Price of the house, what do you think? The price of the house, do you think it's a continuous variable or it's a discrete variable? I mean, just no need to look into the Excel sheet again, but in your understanding, what do you think? Thank you, Malini. Thank you, Madhumal, right? Very good. Others, what do you guys think? Yes, very good, right? 033, 048, 057, 109. Exactly, right? This is going to be more or less, my friends, continuous. Continuous, right? Continuous, right? Why is that? Because it's going to be in a particular range. Like, it could be in between, let's say, particular millions of rupees, right? It's going to be a continuous, right? Second. Right. Right, good. Right, so what you mentioned is correct, my friends. We can write here. This is actually continuous. Because it could be in between ranges, right? Very good. Right. Friends, go to the next one. Number of bedrooms. What do you guys think? Continuous or discrete? Thank you, my friend Malinda. Very good, right? Others, what do you guys think? 039, discrete. Very good. 046. Okay. Right, fantastic. Very good, right? Great. And then, yep. Okay, let's see. Right, okay. Discrete, discrete, discrete. Very good, very good. Fantastic, brilliant, right? Great. Yes, what you mentioned is correct, my friend, right? Number of bedrooms, you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to be discrete. Very good. Yes, CRT. Right, good, my friends, right? Fantastic, great. Size of the house, my friends, what do you guys think? Size of the house, what do you guys think? Yes, what do you guys think? Size of the house in terms of square feet? Thank you, my friends. Very good. Great, good. Good answers. I'm receiving good answers here, right? Very good. Madhumal, thank you so much. 048, thank you so much. 039, fantastic. 046, Shankaran, thank you so much. Yes, very good. 004, 016, 085, 057, 072. C Dulmi, right? Very good. Thank you so much, Dulmi. Very good. Right. Gayatri, fantastic. Yes. The size of the house, my friends, in terms of square feet, right? So this could be sometimes go up to decimal points as well, right? So as you very clearly mentioned, the size of the house will be always continuous, continuous, right? Friends, distance from the city, right? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Yes, come on. Brilliant, very good, fantastic, great, good, my friends, right? Good, great. Brilliant. So everyone is saying continuous excited, right? Distance from the city, my friend, right? Yes, how far it's from the main city, right? Though maybe the most closest city, right? So that distance you can that will be in between maybe measured in kilometers, right? That will be a particular range usually. Like you can say 25.3 kilometers, 25.35 kilometers, 26.98 kilometers, whatever, right? So that's going to be continuous, as you very clearly mentioned, right? Very good. Right, continuous. Last one. Number of bedrooms. What do you guys think? Sorry, bathrooms. I'm sorry, bathrooms, right? Yes? Fantastic. Very good, right? So everyone is saying, brilliant answers, my friends. Very good, right? You got this very clearly, right? Exactly, exactly, right? That's going to be discrete variables, right? This could be discrete variables. Very good. So you can see, my friend, discrete is what? Because it's going to be either 1 or maybe 1.5. 1.5 means one major bathroom and a toilet. Two bathrooms or 2.5, two bathrooms and a toilet, right? There are some specific, right? Certain values, right? And usually there's gap, like, either 1, maybe it's 1.5 or 2, likewise, right? Good. So that's going to be the discrete. Very good. Easy, right? Not difficult, right? Fantastic. Brilliant. Very good. Great. Okay, so friends, we had a bit of idea right now. Quantitative data can also be further categorized into what we call as discrete variables or the continuous variables. Discrete variables or the continuous variables. Right? Brilliant. Very good, my friends. Right? Fantastic. Very good. Great. Okay, good. Now, with that, my friends, let's talk about what? Let's talk about the qualitative data, right? Can we divide this qualitative data into specific categories, right? Can you divide this qualitative data into specific categories, right? Of course we can, my friend, right? This qualitative data, my friends, we can divide them into what we call as a nominal data, right? And the ordinal data. Nominal data and the ordinal data. Nominal data and the ordinal data. Oh, sorry. Gaps. Nishant is asking, can only assume certain values, and there are usually gaps between them. In this definition, word usually gaps, or should it change to GAPS? Uh, Nishant, sorry, I'm not getting your question.
So I just wanted to ask that in that given definition, the gap usually gaps, or the we want to say that the usual gaps
Ah,
or the usual.
a usual or the usually, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Usually or usual. There are usual gaps. I don't see much difference between the two words.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you want to have it as usual gaps, that's again all good, right? Yeah, what we want to say anyway here is the Nishant that there'll be gaps, right? Either 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, likewise, right? Right? Either if you want to say usually or usual, that's again all good, right? Okay. Good question, right? Right. Fantastic. Very good, right? So, friends, now let's go to the qualitative side. Qualitative side, right? Okay. Yes, etc. So my friend 033 is asking, when building a house, can't we get exact value or the size of the house? Yeah, that's a good question, right? But what we try to say is like, now, when you look at the range of data that is available here, right? Range of data that is available here, right? Let's say the square feet. Like, when you look into this all pool of data, yes, a particular house have a particular price, particular square feet, right? But when you look into another data point, right? Another data point, another house, right? That house has another price point, another square feet, right? So I'm not only referring to a one particular data point here, we are referring to the full data set here, right? So if you look into things like the number of let's say the bedrooms, it should be either 1, 2, 3, 4 always. That's why we say they are discrete. But however, if you refer to this the whole data set, you can see that the particular price, if you in this particular data set, you can see it's maybe ranging from 18 million to maybe around 35 million, as an example, right? I mean, in that range, you can see the data points, right? Similarly, the square feet, like maybe starting with maybe 1,500 square feet, right? It might go up to, let's say, I don't know, maybe around close to 3,000 square feet, right? So, I mean, if you take a particular house, I do agree with you, my friend, right? That particular house has a particular price, particular square feet. But if you refer to another data point, right? That data point again have a particular price and a particular size, and if you look at the whole data set, that is in a particular range, right? But if you look into the, let's say, the number of the bedrooms, that will always be have a discrete value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, likewise, right? Whereas in the continuous, when you look at the data range, the whole data set, the data is scattered or kind of distributed across a particular range, right? So, or a given house, yes, I agree. But when you look at the full data set, my friends, like the price, size, those things are actually in a particular range, right? So when we interpret whether particular data is a discrete or continuous, right? Yes, we look into the individually that particular data point itself along with the other data points as well, right? So my friend 033, you ask a very good question, but did I answer your question? Right, good question indeed, right? Brilliant, very good, right? Okay, friends. Now, if we go here, that our qualitative data, we can broadly divide this qualitative data into two specific categories, right? And we call them, right? Uh, nominal data and the nominal data and the ordinal data. Nominal data and the ordinal data, right? So it here. Nominal data, and the other one is the ordinal data. Right, nominal data and the ordinal data. Right? Now, friends, what do you mean by this nominal data? Right? Nominal data is basically sometimes also called as the categorical data. Right? Categorical data. Right? So this nominal data, my friends, like things like, as an example, I mean, they don't have a particular order as of such. Right? As an example, the gender. Right? That's a nominal data, either male or female. Right? Male or female. Whereas, if you look into the ordinal data have a particular, let's say, a particular, the order filled with that, right? Now, as an example, if you take a particular, the Likert scale or whatever, right, then you can see, like, totally agree, maybe agree, neither agree or disagree, likewise, right? So these actually, there's an order filled with that. There's an order filled with that, right? Satisfied, totally satisfied, maybe somewhat satisfied, right? Neither satisfied, no dissatisfied, totally dissatisfied. These are ordinal. There's an order, right? But the nominal data, my friends, there's no order as of such. They're just categorizing the data. They're just categorizing the data, right? So we can write here, my friends, when it comes to the nominal data, we can write here. Nominal data, also known as categorical data, is a type of data that represents categories or labels with no inherent order. Or ranking, right? So the things like, as I mentioned, like, maybe the gender, right? And maybe the particular, the particular town that they lives in, right? Even things like, the, uh, 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 you know, maybe, particular profession that you are in, right? There's no order as of such, right? So those actually nominal data. Those actually nominal data, right? Those actually nominal data, right? Right. On the other hand, my friends, as we mentioned, the ordinal data, there's a particular order. There's a particular, I mean, they're kind of categorical, but they have an order, right? Especially in some of the survey instruments, we uses this to, let's say, have a particular order. Things like, satisfaction, things like the agreement of the particular individual, right? And we can write here, ordinal data is a type of categorical data where the categories have an order or ranking. Right? Good. Fantastic. Brilliant. Right? Very good. So friends, take this down. It's a very important, demarcation of the qualitative data, right? Where we divide this into nominal data versus ordinal data, whereas quantitative data, we divide them into discrete variables or the continuous variables, right? Brilliant. Very good. Exactly. So my friend 028 is giving a good example for the ordinal, right? These are results. As an example, they'll say A, B, C, D. right? So when you get like, if your data, if your marks are above a certain point, you get A, right? But if it is between certain range, you get B, C, D, right? So these are actually ordinal data. Again, there's an order when you look into that A, B, C, D, that that has a particular order or the particular ranking on that, right? Whereas whether you are a gender as a male or female, or maybe whether you are let's say your profession, right? Those things are actually nominal, right? You can't actually kind of rank them, right? But maybe ordinal could be your education qualification, right? Maybe a certificate, right? Advanced certificate, right? Diploma, right? And then maybe things like the bachelor's, right? And the master's, right? And the PhD, right? So there could be, there's an order in that, could be, right? Good, right. Friends, are we all good? Are we all good, right? Have you taken this down? Brilliant, right? So friends, thank you so much. Fantastic, right? Good, right. So friends, even though I was planning to finish it early, I think I went up till very much close to the okay. Okay, right. Okay, so fantastic. So one of my friend is asking good question, right? So my friend Malind is asking like in here, right? So when it comes to nominal data, also known as categorical data, is a type of data that represents categories or labels with no inherent order or ranking, right? So what we try to say is like, when you look into that data, you can't rank them. There's no order, right? Inherent means like, affiliated, or basically like, by nature, there's no order as of such, right? Things like, as an example, the gender. I mean, that's a good example for that, right? Or maybe like, maybe apart from the gender, things like maybe your profession, right? You can't rank them, right? You can't say, okay, this person profession is better than that person, right? You can't. I mean, as an example, my friends have mentioned like, your let's say your degree that you have obtained, whether you passed with the first class, second upper, second lower, or maybe a general pass, right? These you can order, right? There's an order from the nature. Inherent means like, from the nature there's an order, right? So if you look into your degree with the class, right? Like first class to second upper to second lower to the general degree or the just pass degree, right? There's an order, inherent order there. So there's an ordinal, right? But whereas some of the data like the gender or maybe your profession that you are in, right? There's no order into that. Right, there's no order into that. I mean, someone could be a, maybe software engineer, someone could be a data analyst, right? Someone could be a bank executive, right? Someone could be a lecturer, right? So can we assign an order to that? No, we can't assign an order to that, right? So the inherent order means like, there's no, by nature, there's no order into that, right? That's why we say no inherent order or ranking, right? Okay, Malinda, right? That's a good question that you asked, right? Is that clear, Malinda? Did I answer your question? Are we good? Right. Seems to be good, right? Right. Fantastic. Thank you so much, my friends. I think we actually almost covered what we need to cover today, right? So basically, we discussed about fundamental things about the data and the statistics, my friend, right? We start with as to why the data is important, right? What is the purpose of data? Then we talk about we had a brief discussion about as to what the statistics all about, right? We also discuss about the sources of the data, where we say the data comes in the form of primary data or the secondary data. At the same time, we also discuss about the nature of the data, qualitative versus quantitative data. And based upon the nature of the data, my friends, we also further categorize the quantitative data into the discrete variables and the continuous variables, whereas the qualitative data into nominal data and the ordinal data. Right? Fantastic. Very good, right? Brilliant. So friends, are we all good? Does that make sense to everyone, right? Are we all good? All clear so far? Right? Fantastic. One more thing, my friends, before I conclude, right? I generally give this to all my students, right? So, I mean, if you want to reach me at any point in time, if you want to, maybe clarify any doubts that you are having, feel free to reach me. This is my email address, aminaw at, sorry. kln.ac.lk, right? And at the same time, if you want me to, sorry, simple, right? And if you want to, maybe WhatsApp me or whatever, you can also take down my number 0777 686807. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer and clarify any doubts that you are having going forward, right? Are we all good? Right. Thank you so much, everyone, right? Thank you, Shankar, right? Very good, brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone, right? Okay, so friends, I would like to thank all of you for your active participation and involvement with today's discussion, right? I honestly appreciate that. Your involvement and your responses and your thumbs up really help me to really deliver this lecture on this online setting. I truly appreciate your involvement and the engagement with this today's discussion. I know that we start with some very basic fundamental things, right? But going forward, we can we will be going to some advanced techniques and analytical sections as well. Meantime, my friends, if you can, right, when you come for the next week, the session, please download R and maybe R Studio, right, into your devices. If you go to the YouTube or whatever, there will be some ample resources for you to do that. Download the R and the R Studio, right, into your devices. We are going to do some statistical analysis using R, some basic fundamental things. I just want to give you some hands-on experience in using R for some statistical data analysis in our coming session, right? So if you can, please do that as well. And again, I would like to thank everyone for your active involvement and the participation, and your involvement and your response and your thumbs up really helped me to deliver this in a manner that hopefully you understand, right? Thanks again, everyone, and I'm looking forward to see you again in the next week session. Meantime, if you have any questions, you know how to reach me. My email address and my mobile number is with you right now. Thanks again, everyone. Appreciate it a lot, right? Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next week, right? Thank you so much.